When I went to the toilet, I see a wallet. So I picked up and I tried to figure out the name of the person has so much money. When I call all of these, my seniors, they came in and then I was like, wow, they all started, let's start our own business. We got the money. And it was 110,000 US, Singapore dollar.
Nearly the same thing. If
I
it's
know it's a
the
huge, and
exchange rate.
just imagine that your salary is $400, right? And you have that money, so you can imagine the gap is a huge gap.
Today's story starts off not being able to afford a franchise, finding that out, always wanting to work in the food industry, going through the steps of the journey, and now on the way to building a franchising empire to help other people achieve a similar dream. So, just to start us off, you began your journey back in India, and
Yeah,
that's why I want to start the story for everything, just to give a bit of context. And where did everything start up back then?
yeah, it's quite some time ago in 1996 when I completed my hotel management and I was looking for a job. In that process, when McDonald opened in Delhi, first location, and I was like, okay, this is, I want to do something in terms of let me go and talk about franchising. I want to franchise. And that's where the first time I heard the word franchise. I went to McDonald head office and, I was talking to them. I would like to take a franchise. So they thought I could not understand am I looking for a job or a franchise? Young kid, 21, just walk into the corporate office. They were confused what to do. So the gentleman, the franchise director, he was very kind. He took me in and he started talking to me, offered me a coffee, and he gave me a job application form. When I looked at the job application form, I said, no, I'm not looking for a job. I'm looking for a franchise. So he made me understand the cost behind owning a McDonald's franchise. And I was like taken back. I was like shocked. So, wow, to flip the burger, you need to invest so much money. And that's where it was on my head that I want to start franchise, which gonna cost maximum $50,000. And that is stay. And I left the McDonald's and I was looking for a job. One of my friend called me and said, look, there's a job opportunity in Singapore. And why don't you go? I was like, okay, that's great. So I picked up my, resume, went to the five-star hotel in the Taj in Delhi, went on the top floor in banquet hall. I walked in and when I saw the crowd and I was like, gosh, I don't fit in. And, everybody was experienced, well groomed. I was freshers. I had no experience. I thought, let me take a U-turn. I'm going to go back. And I basically came back to the lift. I did not say anything to anyone, and I was waiting for the lift. When I saw a lady, she was struggling to bring stuff out from the lift. So I said, can I help you? She said, yes. Why not? Please. So she has a lot of books, other stuff. So I walked behind her room, put things there, and she opened her wallet trying to give me a tip. And I was like, no, no, not required. I don't need a tip. It's fine. I just helped you. So she asked me, are you employed? Are you working here? Or what is it? I said, I'm sorry, I came for a job interview and I think I'm not going to qualify, so I'm just leaving. And she insisted that you can't run away. You have to go. You don't know what they're looking at, right? It doesn't matter what kind of experience people has. So she forced me to go back. Basically, she walked from the room, so I will, make sure I walk into the banquet hall. I went over
Escorted
there.
you.
Yeah, see, he was there, and I fill out the forms and everything else, and I waited for my turn. My turn came in the evening by 5:30, and I walked in to the interview room. She was there. So I just saw her and a smile, and my fear and stress and everything goes gone away. I walked in, she saw me, and it's like, okay, come on, sit down. So you're coming with me? I said, yes, I'm coming with you. That was my interview, and I just got, everything done. She gave me an offer letter, and that's how my journey began from India.
Seems like kindness helping you in your career trajectory is a reoccurring pattern. Let's put it like that. Because the second thing that stood out to me in our first conversation was how actually in landing that position in Singapore at Pizza Hut, how returning a wallet really helped you propel your career. I guess we could say again now. Could you elaborate a bit more on that?
Yeah, definitely. I was working as a crew member. My job was uh, cleaning tables, attending customers, taking orders, serving food. That was the job. But I wanted to grow. I wanted to learn. That eager to learn is always there. So I see my seniors. They used to go out for cigarette breaks, and I used to do their jobs, like, okay, doing inventory, checking everything else. That helped me to understand that, okay, I'm learning new skill. So when opportunity will come in front of me, I will be ready. I'm going to grab and I will not struggle, I will thrive. So that was the concept behind. So I used to do the work. And for me, when I'm doing a checklist or, like closing checklist, so I literally go and check every station and tick it. So I take ownership. Yeah, it's not that you just tick, tick, tick and you go. I've seen a lot of people that do that. So when I went to the toilet, I see a wallet. So I picked up and I tried to figure out the name of the person has so much money. When I call all of these, my seniors, they were outside smoking, they came in, and then I was like, wow, they all started, let's start our own business. We got the money. And it was 110,000 US, Singapore dollar.
Nearly the same thing. If
I
it
know it's a
the
huge, and,
exchange rate is
and
similar back then as it is now.
just imagine that your salary is $400, right? And you have that money. So you can imagine the gap is a huge, huge gap. And and I was like, no, it belongs to somebody else. I thought the person must be crying, looking for his wallet, and that's
Imagine so.
you just imagine if we lost $100, we are running around looking for it. So that was the thought process. So I got a number. There was one telephone number. So I got his name from the credit card. I called. It was a midnight around 11:30, 12. The guy picked up the phone. I said, hey, I'm looking for this person. And the guy, he said, what happened? Why in the midnight? I said, no, it's very urgent. Can you give me the number? So he gave me his number. So I called him with excitement and kind of, hey, have you lost something? That's the thought was behind my brain. I was so excited. I was thrilled. The guy was sleeping, so he picked up the phone and he got angry at me, and I was pretty upset. I was like, God, I'm trying to do something,
Just let me keep the money now.
I
You
know.
can't ask for it.
So then I told him, okay, hey, I'm in Pizza Hut. So whenever, if you think, call, let us know. We are here. And I put the phone down. And then immediately he called back and he said, I'm on the way. So my GM was there. His name was Salim from Sri Lanka. So I gave him the wallet. I said, look, I wasn't happy to see him. So I gave him the wallet. I said, I'm going. I'm done for the day. You hand over to him. All right. And then it became like a wildfire. Everybody, all employees, people came to know. They all was gathering, and they
Big
were,
event.
they were planning that. Okay, hey, you're gonna get definitely the guy gonna give you a couple of at least $1,000 tip or $500 tip. That was the people are calculating. One of my friend, he picked up the he called the local bar when they were sitting down. Hey, don't sit down. We are like 50, 60 people are coming. Have a party.
Planning it out and everything.
All the planning is going on. And I went back to room. The gentleman came and he was like, who found this wallet? Is that you? So the Salim said, no, crew member. He said, can you call him? I want to take this wallet back from his hand. So they called me. I came down and I was like, okay, nice to meet you. He said, wallet. Then he asked me, do you know how much money is inside? I said, yeah, I counted. It's your,
Candidate
yeah,
sake
I
of well,
counted.
even double check.
As it is your money. It's nothing to do with me. So, it belongs to you. So he was a little shocked and he was like, okay, thank you. And he walked away. So everybody was shocked. This is what happened on that night.
No, no trips, no party.
Nothing, all canceled. They were all
No.
were angry to me. And then the life has started, as usual. You start going working, things are similar. And suddenly one day we had a conference where everybody was invited. We went there and suddenly I start hearing my name and I was like, okay. And then everybody said, hey, come on, get up, they're calling you on the stage. And I went there, got awarded with the honesty, got some gold spoon, some checks, and I was like, wow, this is great. I was very happy. And then in a couple of days, I was in supermarket and I start seeing that people start noticing me and they're looking at me and I thought, okay, is there any my zip is on or what happened? Some
What's
people,
wrong?
why
What's
there are
wrong?
people looking at me?
Instantly.
They're looking at me. So yeah, I went and asked, and then suddenly a few girls came and said, "Hey, you're a nice man," and they start shaking. I was like, "I was always a nice guy. What's wrong with you today?" They said, "Oh, you haven't seen? You look at that. It came in the newspaper. My picture was there, and all of the details." And that's where my lifestyle overnight changed. Became a like star. People start coming to the Pizza Hut to see me, bringing their kids.
They should have given you a commission and everything
It's a
for the
Indian high.
extra pizza sales.
I know that's true. And then the Indian High Commission organized. So all that is happening, events, people start calling, and the kids start coming and meeting me, taking a picture. If you're walking on the street, somebody will stop the car and said, hey, you used to call me PK, come on, I'll drop you. Where you going? Overnight. And then one of my customer who used to come to our store, he connected me to the Princess of Brunei. And when I got a call, I thought one of my friend, they're just trying to pull my leg. That okay, Princess of Brunei is calling you, right? So then,
Good story. Yep. I
yeah,
definitely. I'm not gonna believe that one.
I was like, no. So I just left it as it is. So then I got a call next day saying that, okay, car was there. I sent a driver to pick you up. What happened? Then I realized that, okay, this is the real story. I was like, look, you send me the car now, I'm going to come. Then, then I went to meet Princess of Brunei. We met there. She offered me a job. She was like, okay, hey, nice meeting you. Great guy. I would like you to work for me from tomorrow. And I was like, come on, I need to give my 30 days notice to Pizza Hut. And the Pizza Hut, everybody was upset that, okay, I have promoted you to now supervisor, upgraded your accommodations and salary and everything else. I said, look, what can I do? It's not in my hand. The country belongs to them. So they let me go. I start working with the Princess of Brunei, moved to Brunei, and that was the change from crew member to suddenly I became assistant manager for A&W restaurant. She owned a couple of restaurants. I was start managing there one of the restaurants.
So, did you actually make it past managing one restaurant and having multiple locations under you in your corporate career?
Yeah, no, we were managing multiple locations, right? And it gone from there. I love traveling. So I used to travel. I went from one location to another, from there to Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, went to Hong Kong, went to Australia, then went to Dubai. From there, went to India for a short period of time. Then I went to Europe, where I was working for airport, SSP. And it was on basically a Leeds Bradford International Airport was the main hub, but I used to travel around and that's how we were managing 6 to 7 locations. I have been promoted from till called terminal managers in F&B industry.
So that's the
That was like nice travel. I mean, I always wanted to travel, and that was the reason why I
understandable.
took hospitality, because easy for you to find a job in any country when you travel.
Yeah, hospitality is 80% of the time hospitality. Then there is cultural norms on top of it, but the principles are the same. Good service is good service, no matter where you are in the world.
100%. As long as, I mean, I always believe strongly that everyone is looking for a good employee, good staff, good friend, good everything. What you're looking in your life is good. Even the bad people are looking for a good people, honest people. That's the
Yeah, like even the bad people think they're good people. Uh,
yeah,
I think I can't. Was it? I think it was like a story of Clyde from Bonnie and Clyde, and they
yeah,
were asking him, and he didn't see anything wrong with what he did. That was perfectly fine. No, no. If every sane person would have done the exact same thing
see,
if they
yeah,
were in the same position. So yeah, everybody's looking for the good, the positive, and are believing in it. But fast forward in time a little bit because there's as we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic hit and
yeah.
hospitality. Well, that kind of changed
I
everything from
I
one
knew
day
it.
to the other. So, how did that make you switch your life up? Having that earthquake, best word I can use to describe it, actually.
It was a pandemic hit, and everybody was basically trying to figure out what is next. Is that going to stay for longer? What's going to happen? Yeah, the moment we heard lockdown, I was in Toledo opening one of the store, doing a training, and we heard lockdown, and I got stuck there for a month. My family was in New Jersey, I was in Ohio, and we were looking the panic, how people going mad. You walk into the supermarket and supermarkets are empty. You want to buy something and I cannot find a painkiller, or I cannot find any kind of medicine. It was empty, from one supermarket to another, and you cannot get taxis, no car. I had one of my employee who had a car. He was very kind. So I basically went to the supermarket, staying in the hotel. I brought all the soups, whatever I can microwave and eat, because you don't know where the food is gonna be available, not available. Everybody was locked, right? And I was trying to come back home, and there was no flight, there's no buses, nothing was happening. It was crazy. So I went for a rental car, and I found a guy. He was like, "Look, I need to send this car to New Jersey." And I was like, "I'm going there. Can you take it?" Right. And for me, it's like, okay, somebody's offering me something which I was looking for. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, why not? I took the car. I drove from Ohio to New Jersey. I came home, and we were sitting, and I just went to work. The moment I reached my office, I realized that everything is so closed. Suddenly you see your windows closed, glass, tinted. And I was like, God, are you in a different world? And my own team, where I was working before, they're like, oh, you cannot come inside. I was like, what's wrong? I was like, no, but you came from Ohio, all of that kind of stuff. You need to quarantine for 2 weeks. You need to bring COVID-19 test results. And for me, it was pretty shocked that, where you're working for the last 4 5 years. And because, I mean, you can't blame them. That was the situation. When I came back home, then I realized that what is next for us? Me and my wife, she was trying to explore. We have no plan B. We haven't thought of anything. Now, suddenly, if we do not have a job, do no flights, I can't go back to England. Nothing is happening around. It was dark, and I start utilizing the 2 weeks to figure out what could be my next step with as little investment or no investment. Basically, it's not that if you have money you have everything, but the people like us who is day to day 9 to 5, it's become very very difficult because we never ever has thought, or something came in my mind that we need to have a plan B. We always think that everything gonna be perfectly fine. All that scenarios, we never ever imagine or do anything in the back in head, or bank balance, or build something. There's a plan B. And that was tough. That was hit me so hard. I couldn't sleep. I was looking around and understanding what is happening industry. I start calling my friends and mentors and trying to, so somebody said, oh, cloud kitchen is something new coming up. I start exploring, book an appointment, went there to see it. Everything was automated. You have a pad key, so nobody's there to show you. You just walk in, see it, decide. So when I went, I was like, okay, this is something might work. And in that point of time, it was like, okay, this is the future, right? So I was looking at 25,000 investment, and you can open. And basically, literally, I swipe my credit card and open a kitchen, right? And then the government announced that we are considered as emergency services, right? So we can go back to work. Restaurants start opening. The restaurants start figuring out about the home delivery, and all of that was happening in a completely in a new way. A lot of people has not understood. So I was trying to help a lot of restaurant. I start opening mine, and what I did, we because I have to go back to work, then I have already invested the money, right? So I cannot really, I already paid and my lease is started. Now, on me that I have to pay the rent, right? So I have to do something. So we were trying to figure out the plan B. Now it's is on my head to pay the rent and other expenses, and this is ready. So the moment kitchen is ready, I used to go after work 5:30, used to drive directly to the kitchen. I used to open. It was so good because on your fingertips you open, you close, right? So you open a store, put some kind of offer, things are happening. There was team who was helping you in cloud kitchen, and we opened a store from 6 6:30 till 1 o'clock in the night, and it was happening really good. I mean, those 4 to 5 hours, because that was the peak time. So we were doing a good number at that point of time, and I was like, okay, this is great. So I thought I'm gonna open maybe, 20, 10 locations, all gonna be cloud kitchen. But what happened after some time, I remember it was December or January. I had a COVID and I was staying at home, right? And that 2 weeks, I start getting text message, email, people start writing on social media that what happened to this kitchen, right? And that was the whole idea. I was getting a message, and some of the great messages that people thought because of the COVID time, you close the kitchen, you're not doing well, and people who wrote. I used to read, and we used to cry because for us, if you go to any of cafe, you buying a coffee, and tomorrow the cafe is closed. You don't care, you walk to a different cafe and just pick up your coffee, right? I mean, I have not done it. So for me, it was very emotional that somebody is reaching out and trying to find out, am I okay? Do you need help? Do you need money? Right? And that's where my conversation started with some of the customer. They said, okay, your food is amazing. It's a great product. You don't have to be in the cloud kitchen concept. You have to go somewhere, the better place. You have to expand. And that's where conversation started. They became friends. And I said, okay, I'm going to help you out. And then they have connected me to some of the new development was happening, like in Wilmington, Nashville, Houston, those kind of places, all the downtown, because the downtown was dead, right? And people are trying to re-energize, reinvent how downtown gonna work. And they have brought European concept of the food hall, where you have a bar and different food joints, and they
Wonderful concept.
yeah, it's a great concept, and it's in a great support for a lot of community. So they wanted to help community. They never wanted to bring a national brand to that food hall. So that was a good cause, and they invited me. I went there, and they gave me a kitchen. I said, "Can you cook 1 or 2 dishes? What do you serve?" So I did it. They loved it, and then I got the space. Then I was like so nervous, I couldn't really ask that what about the investment, right? All that was happening, and nobody's talking about money, and I was concerned. So I went and I was like, his name is Scott. I was like, Scott, I will not able to invest money, right? And he was like, okay, so I love your food, but let's figure out what we can do. So I said, you tell me whatever you say, I'm okay. Then he came back with a proposal that, okay, pay 25% of your sales, which goes towards, investment and gas, electrical, cleaning, all those kind of services. So I did my math. If I'm doing $10,000 a week, $40,000, right? It was a straight math. 25%, 10,000, they will take it. So I left with 30,000. I have a food cost 20%, 22%. That's where we are operating. So, that's going to be another 7, 8,000. Then I have an employee cost that will be somewhere 25%, $10,000 towards the employee cost. Still, you're left with a good profit margin. And I was like, okay, this is great, right? So I picked up. I had a GM running the store. All that started, and the location was 1.5 hour drive. So I used to drive back and forth in the weekend and see the operations. I start trying to fix SOPs, looking at the feedback from the customers, talking to them live. We used to go make some changes and see what happened. And people used to like, oh, this is much better. This is better. This is better. And that's how we did it. And we realized that lunchtime you have a long queue. Now, how we can simplify the entire process in menu. So we had a big menu, we cut down, we brought it to the smaller menu. And then still we are working on how do we, that's the whole idea that, okay, how we can make it our much smaller menu, straightforward kind of concept. And then after a year, we were kind of ready, had a full document process, recipes, everything ready. Now, when the second year they start opening Houston location, so Scott called me and Akhtar is a chef. He called me and said like, you need to open a Houston. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of ready. Let me figure out. So I hire a team there, give them entire process training. They start managing the store. They are from Mexico. His name is Nicholas. He never ever cooked Indian food. So that was a great for me because somebody is reading my book and cooking it, and it worked. So I got more confident, and people, the customers, they start asking for franchising, and that's the time when I realized that, okay, this is could be a franchise model. So I went to the lawyer. I came to know, had a couple of meetings, 100,000, 150,000, 80,000 to develop your concept to the franchising. In that process, I start exploring that, okay, is somewhere I can go and learn. I can understand about the franchising. What can I do? So there was a boot camp in Palm Beach. Okay, let me book. I'll go. I started reaching out to the people who was very active, heavily active in franchising, all those franchisor. And there are very good people around us. LinkedIn was amazing platform. People will answer all your questions. They don't hide anything. They will tell you the truth. You can meet them. Sometime I have taken a flight, go meet, have a lunch, and come back. So that's a lot of the informations, useful nuggets we get. From there, then came to know about IFPG. It's like International Franchise Professional Group. And I met Red Boswell. Start talking to him, understanding that the world of the franchising, and I came to know that, okay, there is no way I can become a franchise consultant. So I start my training. I did my exam. I passed, got a certification. Now I had all the information. So that information helped me too, because information gonna stay with you. If you pay somebody for one time, and after every time you have to go back, and you will be empty, because if that's gonna be your, the career or next path, you need to know, right? You need to understand. If you're gonna drive the car, you need to know how to charge or fill the oil or change the oil, and those kind of basic fundamental, then you will be successful. So that helped me to understand, and I start building everything, called lawyers on board, got everybody else on board one by one, one by one. Then I thought, okay, so much money I can't pay. So we put it in a way that success, you get the commissions, you getting your franchise fee, you pay everybody else, right? Everybody on retainer. So you have real estate, you have HR, you have software, you have lawyers, you have CPA. Everybody's on board with that. So it worked that everybody I found who all looking for a success, and they are good at work and build a team, and that helped me to start franchising. And then I saw my team who was working in Wilmington and in Houston, the team member who was there in the system, they said, "Can I take a franchise?" That actually helped me. It boosted me my confidence that somebody who knows in and out about the operation, who is running this store, who knows is a good, bad, ugly, right? And that person is coming and asking you for franchising is great.
Seal
So
of approval you can get.
yeah, that's the best. That's the best you can get. And I was like jumped. I franchised both the location, and that's how we started other locations as well. And slowly, gradually, now we are looking at high traffic areas, bigger locations in DC, Orlando, all of those places. That's the growth, but that the foundation was solid because then I can tell you that okay, look at this, somebody who was part of the system, and they are opening second location. So it validate more that your investment ROIs are great.
Yeah, even you built the you can show the numbers and get people a perspective into what the own store did, the one the model is built out of. But end of the day, it still doesn't prove does it work without you or not. You
Yeah,
need that other person to actually take a leap of faith.
that's right.
And and having somebody that knows well everything. You can't hide anything from
And
the
that
guy
was
managing the location. You can't. Well, you shouldn't. It's
yeah.
gonna you.
Technically, yes, you should not hide anything from franchisee. They are coming to your family. They're becoming your part of you extended. So I look at the two way. Yes, they're gonna invest, but they own 95% of the sales. I get 5% against all those of the 5 years of hard work, building a system process, all the building a network. Where if you come into as a franchisee, you have to spend that 5 years to start seeing money and understanding a business and investment. And 5 years no income because no salary, then you realize it's not easy. But it's a great if somebody walks in, it just help you together to reach your goal and is their goal. It's a both win-win situation.
Yeah, and every franchise, I'm pretty sure, at least all of them I know of, no
Mhm.
matter what industry they're in, they're taking straight off sales.
That's right,
Whatever
yeah.
you're bringing in, we're taking a little percentage of that. So that's just a part of the industry. But looking ahead a little bit to expand Port Masala to 50 locations by 2026, that's one of the things you mentioned to me. How do you plan on doing that? What's
uh,
the
it,
strategy behind it? Or the
yeah, so
motivation as well, I guess.
yeah, definitely. I mean, same, you have to being ready is very important. If you are ready, then you can multiply. But if you are not ready, then it's become very, very difficult. So you need to understand and identify who is your target, either audience, who is the target franchisee. You need to niche down. In past, I've done a mistake where somebody comes with the money. I said, Pankaj, you have money. I want to open the store. And I was like, get excited. Okay, come on, let's do it. But I did not realize it. Okay, the guy is coming from real estate background. For him, investment become double in a year or two, right? And the growth is different in the food business is not that similar growth you're gonna see. It's a lot of hard work. You cannot sit at home and watch TV while your money is getting double, right? You have to work. So it took some time for me as well to niche down and understand, identify the right person. And that's what we are doing. And so for me, I go back to McDonald where I've been in India. I wanted to be same situation as a young kid. I wanted to own a franchise. Nobody was there who could help me in that point of time or guided me, right? It was just completely shut the door and say, go back to work, right? You cannot open because the investment requirement is huge. So for you, you have a China wall which you cannot cross. That's it. You stay here, you work 9 to 5, become a slave. And idea behind for me to go 50 locations, I want to identify people who doesn't have so much money, who doesn't have $1 million, but there isn't a way to do it. How I started, I swiped the credit card and I started, right? There was an opportunity. You need to figure out. So for me, I want to be that kind of a leader, a mentor, which you're gonna take somebody who's working in a restaurant, right? As a GM or supervisor or even the crew member, and you have that aim, ambition to own a restaurant, I will help you. That's my guide. So that's the number one. I'm looking for somebody who wants to become my franchisee, and I'm going to help if I need to help through the investment, or I need to help, they can come on board with 50% investment, 50% I can figure out, installment payment or whatever. So that's the whole plan. That's the number one. Number two, I'm looking for helping a lot of people in terms of, coming from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Canada, Europe through the E2 visa. Now, E2 visa requirements are 50,000 investment. You can be here with your family, kids, and your family.
Ah,
Yes, your
so you
spouse.
can invest it in like a franchise that
That's
50,000
right.
and
Yeah.
then
So
then
that's
then works. Okay,
so
good
for
smart.
me, I'm gonna bring him here, and they will come with a full family. The kids can go to the good school. You are legal in the country. You don't have to think of crossing the border and in investing. Most of the time people invest more money than what is legal path. So I want to utilize that legal path where I'm going to help people. So I have done 2 cases right now. They got visa stamped from Pakistan, right? So that's the whole idea now, to give them a respectable good life, and they can make money, and the kids can go to the good school, or the spouse can go and work somewhere, they have a work permit. So that these are the plan B. Plan C, I'm looking at some of the investor who wants to come. So I'm not going to give one location to investor. It's going to be 3 to 5 location, you know the plan. So
Yeah.
you can hire a cluster manager who can take care of 3 to 5 locations, and investor doesn't have to get involved. So that way we can help to grow and make it successful. And that's what we are doing for next 1.5 year.
I like that. I like that. Also, the two a little more out of the box strategies, let's say it like that, with not selling it directly to the person that's going to run it, but actually having
Yeah,
selling it to invest and help them set up multiple locations at the same time with your own experience.
that's right.
That's one of the things I always enjoy about this podcast. You get to hear about the unique and different approaches people have
Different
taken.
approaches. Yeah. I mean, it's always like different body. Something, some people enjoy coffee, some people hate coffee. So it's what
Right, yeah.
works for you. So everybody has a different way. And for me, to helping somebody who is working in a restaurant industry, life is not that easy, right? They work so hard. I would definitely like to help them to become a business owner, whatever way is possible.
I don't envy them in terms of what they have to do when it comes to the effort
Yeah.
and the amount of time you have to put in. I've
Yeah.
heard about it. I've never experienced it because that, hearing about it scares me away enough. It's like, nah, this is not me. But for the person that maybe want to just get to know you better, or hearing this story and hearing your story, have always wanted to be in a similar position of having a franchise. Where would be some good places for them to learn more, reach out to you, have a conversation with you?
Yeah, you can display my number. I'll give you my email ID, so,
I
and
will
plus I
put
have
it all down below
all
in the
down here.
description for people to make it real
Definitely.
nice and easy so they
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
have to.
I have a
Yes.
franchise consulting company which is called DNAfranchise.pro. It's pretty straightforward. DNA comes from my kids through Bernard Johnson DNA. So people will remember to reach out to us, and the brand is called about Masala, which we can provide you. Put it down, and lets people to reach out. It's not about taking my franchise. I can help them to, whatever way. If you are running a restaurant and you're struggling in terms of the food cost, reach out. I can happy to help. Helping, it's something which we have learned, and a lot of people in my journey, they help me to grow. So in that process, it's time for me to give back.
Oh, that's kind of been the theme through the entire journey, has been the giving back where possible. We had two good examples in the start and then another one here. I want to thank you very much for coming on the
Yeah.
Business Library today. I had a wonderful conversation. I think it's inspiring what you're doing, and I love the mission and vision behind it, and how accidental it all came about, actually.
That's right. It is accidental.
So, anything else you want to leave the audience with before we turn off the recording?
Yeah, I mean, a journey, a start of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step. That's a whole idea. Do not stop yourself, constantly working, and don't care about so much the in last outcome. The outcome gonna fall back. Whatever effort you are putting into, but don't decide the outcome before you start putting your steps. Outcome will come.
I love that quote. I actually think it's still my Facebook banner on my Facebook profile. That
Uh-huh.
exact one. Every journey starts with the first step.
Yeah, that's the step you need to take. Is the line where you are in this side doing a 9 to 5 job. Every single day, people are thinking, "I have to do something," but they're not, right? And
Thinking
the
won't get
day,
you very long alone.
yeah, and the day you take that steps, you realize that this side is much better.
Yeah. At least for the people that come on this show, and also for the people listening to it. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't. Appreciate it.